Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy Pony Montana, and in this video, we are going to be going over another ebook, another mini scheme, and today we are going to be coming out of the Dallas Cowboys playbook. We are currently trying to go over all 32 playbooks, and today's video, we're going to be going over the Dallas Cowboys playbook. I currently have the Bengals next lined up, but if you guys have any recommendations of what I should do after that, leave it down in the comment section. So before I get into it, if you guys are new, subscribe to the channel, comment down below anything, subscribe, like, whatever, engage with the video in some way, because if you guys are back for another one, you guys already know the vibes, man. FTA for the algorithm helps push these videos to more and more people. So if you guys just want to comment that, by all means, FTA, baby. Let's get right into it. Dallas Cowboys ebook. We're going to start off with personnel here. And what you're going to need is 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, a running back, and a quarterback. A quarterback's preferably with Hot Route Master, because some of these routes you might not be able to do or utilize with your quarterback if you guys don't have either Hot Route Master or apprentices all over the field. Now, if you guys don't have apprentices all over the field, get some, because they just make your offense a little bit easier to run. And with the amount of discounted ability points on the field that you can have, you should definitely have a few wide receiver apprentices or tight end apprentices, whatever floats your boat here. Now, because I'm dropping a video on all 32 playbooks, I'm going to always have a Hot Route Master quarterback. So that's always going to make your life easier. It's always going to make your life just easier. So boom, that's all you're going to need. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and a running back. Now, the main formations that we are going to be going over are single back bunch, and then coming out in shotgun, we're going to be going over shotgun wing stack. Now, these were the 2 formations that I kept maining, and I ran through this playbook 3 different times. And one time I went through and I was in shotgun for most of it. I ended up making it to the playoffs, but I ended up losing. Then I ended up going into single back bunch and then audibling into wing stack, and I ended up winning 2 Super Bowls back to back. So I figured it was ready for an ebook. So hopefully you guys can take these tips and take these setups and bring that Lombardi trophy home to your team. So let's go ahead and start off with single back bunch. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a tight end and we're going to substitute him into this middle section here. You can substitute him wherever you want, but I just preference, I like him in this middle section here because of corner routes and certain things like that. Now, the other formation that we kind of hopped into was single back wing flex, and I'm not diving into this formation too much because I don't want this video to end up being 30 minutes long. I feel like 20 minutes might be the perfect time mark by the time this is done recording. But the audibles that I did for this are halfback stretch, 2-6 duo, mesh spot, and PAY drag wheel. And I'm not going to go over specific setups for these because I usually ran these in the red zone. So halfback stretch, you're just sitting there trying to run the ball. 2-6 duo. I believe this creates a decent amount of separation with the interior linemen. And it's just a very good run play in my opinion. And then mesh spot, we got these in almost every single one of our playbooks simply because it helps destroy dollar because of the wheel route, the quick wheel route, and then the setups that you make after that. You have a post, you have a drag, and then you put another post, and then it goes crazy. Very, very good play. And then the PAY drag wheel, a very, very sneaky play, especially with the weird tight end route, because it's like a swing streak. I don't even know what to call it. And you get a decent amount of separation, and you can hit it fairly quick. So those are going to be like the extra plays that we didn't really go over, but obviously some people like to have like that, different plays to like dive into. But our main plays that we're going to be coming out in is this play called flanker drive. So single back bunch, our audibles, dig return, inside zone split, and you can audible into halfback zone weak as well. Any run play pretty much is going to pretty much work for you out of these formations because you're coming out of single back. So whatever you feel like you want to run out of this, obviously, whatever, because some people are more comfortable with inside split. I'm always more comfortable with plays where there isn't like a pulling guard or a pulling tackle to create that extra type of blocking. So I prefer running halfback zone weak, but obviously if you guys want to run the inside zone split, that's perfectly fine. Then you got verticals, everyone's favorite stock play pretty much, and then we got PA boot. But when you first come out, we're always going to come out in this flanker drive. This was the main play that I was utilizing. This is a great play, and I'll go over exactly the setups that I was rocking out of this specifically. But yeah, single back bunch, flanker drive is what we're going to come out in every single time. So boom, we're going to call it. And then on the defensive side, we're just going to call a random play. Now, you can run this play stock. And when you run this play stock, anytime you run this play, R1 is going to be your first read. And I have to talk about this for a little bit because this play is very, very important. As you can see, we end up getting a bunch of yardage there. But you need to learn how to run this play properly if you guys are utilizing this. Now, the reason why I say that you need to learn how to run this play properly, because if you throw this play wrong, the tight end is sometimes not going to be able to catch the ball. As you can see, there's a lot of different reasons why, but you have to pass lead this specific route down. What I mean by down, if I take my squigglies here, you need to pass lead down here. I know that sounds weird, but if you pass lead it up, he's not always going to be able to catch it, and sometimes he'll get a bad animation. Sometimes it'll knock off of the head of one of your linemen, and it's just going to be extremely frustrated. Granted, I know I got two very decent animations there, but more oftentimes than not, it was frustrating me when I was playing in an actual game if I wasn't getting the animation that I actually wanted. Now, again, I'm actually getting very good animations now, which is always the case when I start recording a video. But you typically want to pass lead down because you'll end up getting a nice little rack animation. And I'll try to showcase that right now. And of course, trust me, you want to pass lead this down, okay? Instead of pass leading it up, because stuff like that happens and, you know, pick artists go crazy. GG's, you get frustrated. Instead, you pass lead it down and you end up getting a better animation, and you'll never have to risk your guy overthrowing it or overshooting it to where the defenders might get an interception. That's going to frustrate you. Now, the two setups that I was rocking with this play specifically, simply taking your X receiver or A receiver, if you guys are on the Xbox, and putting him on a post route. You guys can pause the video, take a screenshot, because this is one of the setups here. I'll let this rock for a second. And your first read is going to be R1. So, you know what? Let me just go ahead and draw my first read. First read is going to be here. That's number 1. Second read is going to be the drag. That's number 2. Third read is going to be the post route. So with this route here, this is supposed to be the clear out route. So any deep route that's any deep zone or player that should be guarding anything underneath is going to end up being brought back, which is going to leave this post route should be open at least. So that's going to be the first setup. And then if they are in a cover 2, by the way, this route ends up getting open over the top if you pass lead this to the right side. So that's setup number 1. Then setup number 2 for this play, we're going to keep the same post route there, and we're going to do this. This is setup number 2. This is also going to do damage against cover 2. But your first read is going to be obviously R1. R1 is always excuse me. R1 is always going to be your first read here. Let me get rid of that other squiggly here. But R1 is always going to be your first read. Then the drag on the opposite end. And again, this is just going to create very, very good spacing. And then after that drag, you're going to look towards your post route and see if you can squeeze it in between one of those zones. And this is going to be like a short routage situation route. And if they're not sending anybody, a lot of the times, because we have this clear out route with the streak, this route ends up being open on the sideline. So again, if you have enough time, that route is going to end up being open. This was the bread and butter play. This helped score so many, this helped me move down the field so easily on a lot of different defenses, whether it be man coverage, zone coverage. But this setup right here was money, because simply if they blitzed, again, then that's one of the reasons that you pass lead down. But if they blitzed, you pretty much had that R1 route cooking. And like I said, that's why you pass lead down, because you'll always get that route where you end up getting decent, a decent amount of yardage. Now, let's audible into play number 2. That is going to be dig return. And you're going to have a few different setups here. Now, you can run this play absolutely stock. I was running this stock honestly because I feel like the spacing is very, very good. And your first setup is going to be your first look is going to be R1 on the flat. Your first looks always are going to be the short intermediate routes. So let me call timeout real quick so I can just hop right into the dig return. Your first read is going to be the flat pattern. Your second read is going to be the zig route. Your first read is going to be the flat. Your second read is going to be the zig. And then your third read is going to be the in route. Now, because I have Hot Route Master, I was putting read on an actual post route instead of leaving him on that double move because I don't really like the double move. Honestly, I prefer the zig route. I prefer the regular skinny post instead of the double move. But those are going to be your first reads. Now, for audibles in this play specifically, we're going to take R1 and put him on a corner route, not X. A lot of people think that X is the better route when you put him on a corner here, but I prefer to put R1 on his route here. Now, this is another setup, simply just taking R1 and putting him there. And again, your first read is going to be R1. Then your second read is going to be interchangeable between R1 and then X. And then your third read, again, if X isn't hit, then R1 is going to be hit. If R1 isn't hit, then X is going to be hit. And then your last and final read is going to be the post route coming over the top. And if they're running cover 3, this is also going to double as a decent little cover 3 beater if you have enough time, and you're on the short side of the field. So let me just call the play right now and make sure we got the man beater. We got 2 man beating routes here with the corner route and the zig that's underneath, as you can see. So the zig ends up beating, the corner ends up beating his man here. As you can see, we pass lead this, we click on and we catch it, and the zig ends up beating his man, as well as the in route coming in. And then if this wasn't a cover 1 here, this is a touchdown as well coming over the top. So all of these route combinations are going to help and save you if you guys are struggling to stop to score in this kind of situation. Now, the last setup that I was running is, again, we're going to utilize this X route, this R1 route here. And then in this X route, we're going to put him on a streak here. So we're going to kind of create kind of like a Z post or whatever the play is called, Z spot, excuse me. And then square, because I have Hot Route Master, we put him on a C route. And if they are in man coverage, this situation right here is going to destroy man coverage, like completely annihilate it. So we got the zig route that beats man coverage. We have the R1 route that beats man coverage, and we have a C route on the left side that's going to destroy man coverage as well. And again, you have a levels concept as well. That's going to allow us to pretty much pick our poison and throw to the open zone. Now this looks like it might be cover 2, but I don't have flanker dig as my I don't have flanker dig as one of my audibles, so hopefully it might be man coverage. It is not. Oh man, my D line is crazy. But again, those are the best setups for that dig return play. So let's hop into play number 3. We don't really need to hop into play number 3 because it's just verticals. That's the third audible into the playbook. So let me just hop into verticals and just throw it once, I guess. Your first read, it's verticals. You pretty much are going to sit there and hit. You're going to look at O first. If it's open, he's manned up. So, bad read by me. I'm blind sometimes. So, forgive me on that. But if they are in like a cover 3 here, you guys can hit that. You guys can hit that fairly quick. They were in a cover 1 there. That's my fault again. I'm blind. But if they are in a cover 3 where that outside cornerback is backing up, you can hit that O route fairly quick. If not, you can sit there and look towards the tight end that's on that wheel route, and then look for the crosser over the top. And that's pretty much it. You can take the running back, put him on whatever route you guys would like to, whether it be an in route, out route, a zig route, depending on which side of the field you're on. Because obviously, if he's on this side, if he's on, let's put the guys here real quick. So because he's here, he'll end up going to the opposite side there. As you can see, it's a very, very uncomfortable play. And then if you go to this side, he should go the other way. So if you're on the if you have the bunch side on the weak side of the field, on the short side, excuse me, then you could put your running back on an angle route. Again, you could take a screenshot of this if you'd like to. This is not a play that I mained. This was a play that I kind of quick hiked. Like I'd audible into the wing stack, right? And then I'd go ahead and audible back down, which was very, very frustrating for a lot of people. Now, this looks like some try hard stuff, but if you did this and you quick hiked, especially verticals, it's very, very, very difficult to stop. Now, as you can see, my D-line is just very, very good. Not much that you could do when your D-line's getting pressure like that. So that's it pretty much for verticals. Now, the last setup is the PA boot play, and this was a play that I pretty much ran on the short side of the field. Let me go ahead and find it real quick. And it's going to be the same concept as like the Z spot play and the dig return play. Oh, we're going to keep using auto flip here, and we're going to call a random play on defense. So it's just pretty much the same thing, but I feel like the corner route gets a lot of separation. So the only thing that I was really doing here is blocking the running back here and then putting R1 on a streak. And then after that, R1 should break off of his man. Now we ended up getting bumped there. We ended up getting bumped there on the route. So give me 1 second. We're going to do that one more time. And because we only had to block our guy here, we have two very, very good man-beating routes with a very, very deep corner route. Because we have our streak going up the field, our corner route ends up breaking open. Now, granted, because he's getting bumped there, it's kind of messing up the streak there. That's why the streak is taking so long to get upfield. As you can see, the streak is taking very, very long to get upfield. And as you can see, this route does a very good job at breaking fairly quickly. But our streak isn't up the field to bring back any of these guys quickly. So unfortunately, we keep getting bumped there. So again, you can double this and actually take O and put him on a streak, and then change R1 and put him on whatever it is that you guys want. An in route, an out route, something to bring down any short routes to make sure that our play here works properly. We click on, and we're able to sit there and have a beautiful read there. So obviously our first read is always going to be that initial flat pattern that we got going towards a flat. Then it's going to be the square route actually is going to be our second read. And then our corner route, if that ends up breaking open, that's going to be your third. And the streak is always, in between those reads, whether you want to pretty much throw that open or not. And that's going to be it for single back bunch. And then the reasoning why we audible into wing stack, it's kind of the same reason why pro players audible from gun bunch to gun tight formations. It simply creates that thing where one of your guys goes across the field, forcing one of the defenders to follow him, showing what kind of defense your opponent is running. It helps you figure out it helps you figure out what kind of defense your opponent is going with. So for your audibles for mesh spot, let's just go over the mesh spot audibles. All you're going to need to do is take your tight end and simply put him on a post. That's it. Now, this is going to be a short yardage situation play. And another thing that you guys can do, and I'm going to leave this here first, is do the interior tight end and then take that outside tight end and put him on a streak. Because we're going to be able to have the option of highballing here. And obviously, if we have that R1 route open, look at how wide open our tight ends get. Our tight ends get crazy separation on these plays, especially if you have the abilities short in or some kind of route technician or anything like that. Your tight ends get crazy separation in this formation. So again, it doesn't matter what play you're running. Your tight ends are going to get a crazy amount of separation on these plays. So make sure you guys are utilizing these routes with your tight ends and pretty much go crazy with it. So that's going to be the main setup for the mesh spot. But again, we're audibling into the mesh spot out of this play. And pretty much if you want to put a streak out on the field just to confuse the opponent, you got a drag, you got double drags here, and you got a deep in route coming from the backside. That's going to end up helping you guys out as well. So if they're blitzing heavy, you got your drags underneath, which are always your first reads. Excuse me, the R1 route is your first read, but obviously if that's not open immediately, you have to go towards something else. So let me just call the next play that is in the audibles for wing stack. So it's mesh spot, then inside zone. Obviously, for the run plays, you guys can pick and choose, your read options. I personally like read options if I have a mobile quarterback, which I do. But power O is a very good run play as well. But for the run play, you just got to pick your poison, whatever it is that you feel comfortable with. But the next play is smash drive. Now this play works a lot better if your running back has short and elite or some kind of route running ability. Because your running back is coming out of the backfield running a route. I did it again with the random. Okay, perfect. Because your running back is coming out of the backfield running a route, you want to make sure that he's getting enough separation on said route. Now, one thing that you guys could do for this play, I was running this play absolutely stock because I feel like all these routes are very, very good. As you can see, we have the levels concept with the tight end and with the two tight ends here. And then we have a levels concept on the outside here with the two wide receivers and then the running back coming out of the backfield. Now, the running back coming out of the backfield is like a shaky play. Sometimes they get the animation, and like I showed here, sometimes they don't. You will get the animation or you will get the separation if you have short and elite or some kind of route running ability on that running back. But a lot of the times it is a little bit frustrating when your guy doesn't really get the separation that you want him to get. Now, one thing that I was doing for this formation is doing the same exact thing that I was doing in the mesh spot. Taking the tight end, putting him on a drag, and taking the outside tight end and putting him on a post. And you guys could take a screenshot of this. Or I was taking that same tight end and putting him on a trail route. Why? Because the spacing and the timing of the route it just gives you more time and distance to make the read. So this is going to be your next setup here. And then because the meta is pretty much pressing, our next setup is going to be square being on a streak. And that was pretty much it for this play as well. So you guys can look at this and pretty much go ahead and screenshot that. And let's call it one time. X is open. Oh, again, these guys have the abilities to pretty much get free releases and stuff on free releases and everything on pretty much on my defense or offense, excuse me. But as you can see, these are the plays that I was running. So I'm not going to keep going over it because these guys are lit up and I don't have my second controller currently. So these are the plays for this play specifically. Also, this route that's on the outside, the Edelman route, it also breaks open against man coverage from time to time. So if you guys want to take that guy and motion him in, it creates a crazy amount of separation. So this was another setup that I was currently running, is motioning him out all the way to the opposite side, and I was actually motion hiking him. I wasn't motion hiking him inside. I was just motion hiking him towards the opposite side. And once he crossed that tight end, I was hiking the ball, and that was pretty much it. And that's pretty much it. I wasn't really calling this play as often as I probably should have. I was more so calling the PA play. So let's hop into that and go over the setups for that play, and then that will be it for the ebook. So PA read. This play here was destroying people who were manning and just running nonstop man coverage. So that's going to be the main play that I call here. I wasn't calling this play unless I noticed that they were calling man coverage. So first things first, I was smart routing the square route. Then I was blocking one of the tight ends. And then I was calling the tight end and putting him on a post route. So this was the main setup for this specifically, was this right here. Because if they did that, square breaks open, as you can see. Square was wide open, the tight end breaks open, and then the drag underneath actually ends up open as well. So let's go ahead and showcase this. So boom, drag underneath, open. Tight end route is always going to end up being open. Now, granted, this is a perfect example of like if the user was guarding this, but then this route here is possibly one of the better post routes in the game, and this was getting separation nonstop against these people that are running nonstop man coverage blitzes. So if you guys are struggling against man coverage blitzes, this is going to be a play for you to utilize pretty much destroy anybody that's running man blitzes. So another setup that you guys can run is simply just a simple crossing pattern with the tight end and that post route. So again, we're going to smart route it, and they're going to send all the pressure, and the milkman is going to get a free release pretty much every single time, because that's what the game is pretty much. So let's go ahead and call that one more time. And again, triangle ends up open, and this is against the man coverage meta pretty much. You're going to destroy the man coverage meta. Now, one thing that you guys can do out of this play is, now I'm going to try to do this without having a second controller in hand, and that's going to be beat cover 3 over the top. So we're going to smart route the square route. Actually, let's back this up real quick. And this is going to be the last play that we go over, because a lot of people like to run cover 3. So this is going to be the last setup. We're going to put triangle on a streak, and then we can call hike. That's pretty much all we need, is to put triangle on a streak. And then if we get enough time and enough time of separation, cover 3 beater, baby, for a touchdown as well, which was a beautiful thing. Now, I'm actually going to show the instant replay on that. Now, you have to be on the short side of the ball to get this going properly. But as you can see, this corner route, because it's like sort of delayed, it keeps that cornerback pretty much downfield. And as you can see, he actually follows him towards the outside instead of following the post route that's going over the top, which allows us to pretty much dot way over the top towards the sideline for a nice touchdown. This is going to complete the Dallas Cowboys mini ebook for you guys. A cover 3 bomb over the top for a touchdown. Very, very easy. Very, very easily ran, and it's very consistent. But by the way, as you can see, he does it again where he sits there and bites down on that corner route. You do not have to change it to an automatic route. And if you guys don't have Hot Route Master or anything like that, for this one, you guys don't even need it. You guys just need your player to pretty much throw an accurate pass. As you can see, as consistent as it can be, you guys have a beautiful dot, a beautiful touchdown. I might post this on a separate video, just in case some people might want a nice separate cover 3 video. But you know, not everybody's gonna sit here through 20-30 minutes of an ebook video. But if you guys are rocking the Cowboys playbook, there's a very good scheme. It's a very good offense for you guys to run. I usually only win 1 Super Bowl with some of these playbooks, and for this one I won 2, and that's how good I thought it was, especially if you're sitting there. As you can see, number 28, Quadfather, is completely lit up. And I didn't even, now disclaimer by the way, if you made it this far, Quadfather was not my main offense. I simply just utilized him to get the run game going from time to time, but he was not my main offense. My main offense was passing the ball, because when you got Tom Brady, 99 Tom Brady, 99 Patrick Mahomes, you have it's easy. It makes it a little bit easier to pass the ball. So this is the Dallas Cowboys mini ebook. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, man. We got the Cincinnati Bengals playbook coming up next, so hopefully you guys enjoy that one as well. That one took me a few tries, but I finally got it to where I feel comfortable in showcasing a scheme for you guys to go ahead and enjoy and utilize runners. Let's just say that. Now, I will see you guys in the next video, man. Hopefully you guys appreciate this ebook. I appreciate those of you guys who are supporting these videos, because these ebook videos are fairly long and they take me a decent amount of time to make. So appreciate you guys, man. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. As always, 2 fingers, deuces, and peace out, you guys.